Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Survivor pre-show this week. We've got such a fun show. We're going to talk about Survivor. We're going to talk about last week. We're going to talk about this week. Auction time, baby. If you don't know me, as I'm not usually right here, my name is Tegwith, and I cannot wait to talk to these two wonderful people about Survivor. First, I've got Avery, who's always a regular on the pre-show. Avery, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I'm really excited. But we have a super special guest here, Survivor super fan, Asher. You may know him from TikTok or Instagram or just all over the place. He's incredible. So funny. Asher, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
It's going to be so much fun. This is such a fun episode, I think, to get to talk to you about because, second auction in the new era. So it's a really, really big episode. So I asked you this a little bit before, but how long have you been watching Survivor? Like how big of a fan are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen every single season and like spinoffs like Australia and stuff like that. But I think the first time I really started watching consistently was from Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers on. And then I also saw Kagayan on, but then I took a break because I didn't really understand what Survivor was. But I was watching with my mom for like a couple of years, so that was pretty cute for like 5 years.
That's a great, time to start. And how are you feeling about this season so far?
I'm loving it. I think the strategy has definitely been the highest it's been in a while. I love a good blindside. There's like a blindside every single episode. It's been amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so into the season, and I love the cast too. Oh my god.
I know. Avery, how are you feeling about this season as a whole? Now we're at like the jury part of the game.
I know. Okay, like I'm so sad about last week because obviously my winner pick was Tiana. So like my heart is a little bit broken. I sent her a little message and I was like, listen, I'm so sad. But I am super excited, super sad that I won't be seeing her on the jury. But other than that, I cannot wait. I am so excited, especially for the auction coming back. I'm like,
I know. The auction, I mean, there's so many, I think, ideas. Well, we brought up the auction a couple times. Let's get into that. Let's get into the auction talk of it all. What do we think is going to happen with the auction this episode? Like, how about this? What do we want to happen? Like, Asher, did you like those like twists that we saw in 45 or what are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was a good idea in theory. I don't think that the producers I don't know if they thought it out entirely because what ended up happening is whoever had the most money just bought the next item. And then it just was down to who had the least amount of money. So I think that made it a little bit less exciting because they weren't really bidding on like the food. They were kind of just bidding to get rid of their money so that they didn't have any left. So I'm hoping that this time there are no twists and it's just a standard auction. I hope that's what happens.
I totally agree. And I've always said, like, the way to fix the auction, the auction was hacked. We get that. We know what happened. But the way to fix the auction is just say, hey, we're not doing anything. We're not giving you anything. There's no advantages. There's nothing. And if you really like say that to people and be like, promise you there is nothing, it's just going to be a fun regular auction. And I truly think that people would have, it would be really fun. Avery, how do you think that we're going to see this auction play out?
I am feeling good. I'm hoping that it's just a regular normal auction. But I did see like Sierra posted on her Instagram and she was like, who's going to get like the grub or whatever, and like posted like bugs and everything like that. So I'm kind of excited at that little, I don't know. Like, I feel like obviously it's going to be probably like something covered as Jeff does. Yeah. And they're going to pull it out and it's just going to be
gross.
Ew. But
I love that.
We'll see.
Last time when he bit into the eyeball, it was so gross. It was so good though. Really good moment. And he really like went at it. I hope we get that same kind of enthusiasm from Now here's the big question. Are we going to get the same energy with Queen Emily in her wine confessional? Like, are we going to get that energy?
I hope
so.
Right? Because that was just like, Emily's amazing. That's just kind
of
love her, right? And so I really hope we get that kind of like, let's see what's going to happen. And I totally agree with you, Asher. Like, I really don't think that I think they had the right idea of how to like hack it. How to change it, but it really just ended up not being interesting because the person with the highest number on the board was like, okay, I guess I'm getting a milkshake for $900. Right. Okay, I'm getting like a beer for, and that just is uninteresting to me.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. I think that it was a good twist in theory, but I think hopefully maybe they refine it because I know the new era they're probably going to do a twist, and that's fine as long as it's like refined and it's a little bit more refreshing to see. I feel like I mean either way, I still enjoy the last one too. Like I'm still going to enjoy it, but yeah, I hope they do something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some fun people here in the comments. Megan Yang said, "This is healing me right now." That's what we're here for. Absolutely. Roy says, "I think a hidden immunity idol in a piece of a cake would be great. So like while they're eating it, like the idol just like they bite into it. That would be fun."
I would love to see like what they would do. Like imagine biting into like you know what it is. So like what are you gonna do to hide it? Like that would be definitely interesting.
You have to stay calm. Ryan has always had, my partner's always had this really good idea where, you know how they used to do baths and showers? They put the like map to a hidden immunity idol on the door of the shower so that you can't take it with you. And you have to just look at it, memorize it. And then you have nothing to prove that you have this like map or whatever. I think that'd be really cool.
So like, are we all gonna just like message Survivor on Instagram and be like, listen,
hello,
the next season that you guys film, like,
it's a good idea.
Definitely. Here we go. Asher, we didn't ask this. Who's your winner pick of the season? Did you have a winner pick?
So the person I want to win is never my winner pick because they never end up winning. I love Genevieve from like she's literally like I'm obsessed with her. She's my favorite by far. Like I'm obsessed with her. I need her to win. Do I think she's gonna win? Probably not. I don't want to like put this energy out there because I don't necessarily want him to win, but I think Andy's gonna win. I have thought Andy was gonna win for a while. Do I want him to win? Not necessarily. He's growing on me a lot. But my winner pick is Genevieve, but in reality, I think it might be Andy.
I don't know. I think that Genevieve is getting a good edit. We saw last episode. It was last episode, right? Or 2 episodes ago where he did that. It was that big edit with Andy, but it was to show that he's like making these bonds with Saul and Genevieve, you know?
Yes, that was last episode. I was just rewatching it.
Yeah. So I feel like that could be really good for Genevieve. And I really think that like, you know, if you have people at the end, let's say it's Genevieve, Andy, and I don't know, somebody else, just say Sue. I don't know. But let's say it's like the fight between Genevieve and Andy. Do you think that Andy's going to get more votes than Genevieve if they're sitting next to each other? Because I don't think he is.
No way.
No. Yeah.
You know,
honestly, like he like hasn't done as much. Like he's literally just been like riding on Sam and Sierra's backs up until the merge, where he's now deciding that he wants to spread out and go with other people. But I mean, obviously, once it gets to the jury and the people from Gada left are going to look at him and be like, but you didn't do anything before. So if they're seated next to each other, I 100% think Genevieve has a huge shot. Unless he does something like massive, there's no way.
Yeah. And I think they were like kind of hinting that Andy was going to turn on the Yellow Tribe. And I don't know when, maybe this episode, maybe next episode, but I think that would definitely make the Yellow Tribe really bitter because they went out of their way to save him like twice already. So I just think that if Andy does that, he has no chance of winning against like Genevieve. I don't think Soul is going to win. I don't think he's giving winner, but I love Soul. He's my favorite man. I never root for men on Survivor, but I am rooting for Soul.
He's great. And I just love watching him do challenges because he just beasts his way through challenges. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to watch. He's so funny. And here's a big thing. I never like poker players. I am anti-poker players on Survivor. This is a big, like, I just don't think that they're as good as they think they're going to be. And yet, this season, we still have 2 poker players still in the game, and they're Saul and Gabe.
Oh,
they're not professional poker players, but they do it in like they do it enough to where they added it in like their like about them section when they were playing, which I think like if I was gonna do a thing about me, I would only do things that I do all the time, which would probably be like TikTok and my cats. Like that, those are my hobbies. So, you know, I think they play poker enough to put that there. And I really think, and let's talk about Gabe. How are we feeling about Gabe after this last episode? Are we pro Gabe, neutral on Gabe?
We all know how I feel about Gabe. I have been saying Gabe's going to get voted out for 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
I've been wrong every week.
I think his time is coming. I think
I do
this is
too.
his episode. I'm feeling
Yeah.
that Gabe is gonna get out. I don't like the way he's talking about Sue and Caroline. It icks me out. I'm not a big fan of Gabe's. He got like his edit has been really weird because in the beginning it was giving like mastermind, like evil villain, but now it's kind of giving like I'm by myself. I'm just saying whatever I want to say. I'm kind of delusional vibes. And I think that means his time is coming soon, which I would love. I really want Gabe to get out this episode because I love Sue and Caroline so much too. And I really want them to like, I want to see what would happen with Gabe not there.
I honestly feel like since the merge, like Sue's like going down a little. Like I feel like she's not really like trying to do as much. And I kind of want to see her like lift that back up and like do more because obviously we all love Sue. And I want to see her do a little more, I think.
I also just want to say I was very high on Caroline after the last episode. Like I think I think she's done really well this whole season, but the last episode, I cannot wait to see what she does with how she communicates with people. Like, do you remember that moment last episode where she was sitting with Tiana and Tiana was like talking to her about like why Tiana wanted to go for Gabe. And Caroline was like, I know that like Gabe is one of my closer alliances. This is in her head. And, I want to make sure that he stays, but I need to make sure that Tiana is being listened to, is being heard. And she just like had this really intense eye contact. And the way she communicated, I was like, I want to learn how to communicate like that in my real life. Like she's so incredible.
Right.
I love her. And like after the last episode, I don't know that she's going to win, but I could see her going pretty far.
I love Caroline. Like she's the best ever. I love her. I think the Blue Tribe is kind of done for. I don't think that they're gonna do very well. I think what's gonna happen is the other ones are gonna team up and then kind of kick them off one by one. I think maybe she might be the last survivor or Sue will because she has the idol. But I really wish that they do well. Like I want them to do so well.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I just feel like I just feel like Caroline doesn't have like a winner edit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like she kind of disappeared for like quite a bit. And we were kind of like, where is she? To the point where I'm like, she's definitely not gonna win, but like with how she is socially, I could definitely see her going far.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got some comments down over here. Roy also commented, Andy has to do some work to get relationships with Sierra. I do think that Sierra and Andy is kind of broken. We might see something with Andy and Sam, but I don't know that we're going to see that again. But I do think that Sierra and Andy is gone. Chris also says, I agree with Asher. He was high on Gabe until about episode 4 or so, and he's not doing as strong as he originally thought, which I totally agree. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Back talking about the Tuku group, I think the way also they reacted, let me know if you guys agree, with that vote out, it was very clear they were going to vote out Rachel. Very clear. She got saved without power. She left and they freaked out. And I think the other 6 people watch that and go, oh, they're tight. Oh, they're tight. They didn't want to do that. And I think that was really bad on their, like, really not good for any of their games. And I do think you're right. They're going to go, let's pick off the Blues because they're way too tight.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I think that Tiana was totally onto something. She was not like I was not her biggest fan early on, but in that episode, I felt so bad for her because her logic was 100% right. I think, and it's hard though, because I think I agree with Caroline too. I think for Caroline's game, she should not have gone with Tiana, but I think Caroline was just kind of screwed either way by losing that challenge because in both sides, there's something bad that's going to happen. But I think Tiana was spot on. I think that the other, and I think we even said it in the last episode that they are going to group together and they're going to start to kick off the Blue Tribe one by one. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. Like, I'm going to be very interested if we see that immediately. Like, I'm part of me even thinks like we are just like all of a sudden they're going to be like, we got to go for Blue. Like, I don't know. I just kind of feel that in my bones. Who else do you think could be at risk for going home this evening? Because this is a big vote, Mayor Ponderosa, first jury member. I have no idea.
I honestly think that Kyle is definitely at risk if he doesn't win immunity.
Oh yeah,
true. That's true.
And he has my entire heart, and I love Kyle so much. But I just know, like, if Kyle doesn't win immunity again, they're going to be like, he's literally been winning back to back. Like, he's gone. No doubt.
Yep.
That's a really good one. I will say, though, to play devil's advocate on Kyle, while he did win immunity, he did come in third in that challenge.
That's true.
So he lost to 2 other people. And so part of me wonders, especially in like the new era now, do you think they're going to go after somebody who is having a more overt social game? I don't know who that could be. Maybe it could be Caroline. Maybe it could be, Gabe said he wanted to get out the women. So maybe it could be like maybe the men join up and have the opposite of a women's alliance, which I guess would be a man's alliance. But
hate it. Hate that.
I know, right?
Boo.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think Rachel's still in trouble though. I don't think she's out of the water just yet because I think a lot of attention was on her last episode. Sucks for her. Literally, she did nothing wrong. She actually did everything right. It was just how luck was on. It was not on her side. So I do think that like the Blue Tribe is also looking at Rachel still, if anyone, because Caroline also thinks that Rachel's like the leader of it, even though she's not. And I do think that if something were to happen and they were to flip on somebody, I think Rachel would be the one to kind of face the votes.
I think that's a really good call. We had some people. So Roy says he thinks Sam is at risk, which I think is an interesting idea because that is somebody who's pretty strategic. In theory, he looks pretty physical, and he was one of the last 2 standing from the yellow group last time. So if he's not safe, like I could see a world in which Sam goes home.
I don't know because I feel like if I were Andy, like I feel like it would be smart for him to kind of like play it in a way where he doesn't let Sam know that he is that he knows, like, you know what I mean? Just to like keep that in case he ever needs it. I feel like it would be kind of smart to not say anything about it.
Yeah, like keep it in his back pocket, use it for later on in the game. I totally see that. But like if he's not safe and you think that he can get the votes, I feel like I let me know if you agree with this idea, but I kind of think, and we saw this with Gabler, for better or for worse, he got out somebody at the beginning of the merge. And then he was the Alligabler and then went under. And basically his whole final tribal council was, I got out Ellie. Look at that. I got out Ellie. Which when I was hearing that, I was like, what? That doesn't even matter. That happened so long ago. And yet that was one of the things that made him win. So is there a strategy in going after somebody, the first vote of jury, the first, like get somebody out really early on and then don't do anything for a while, chill out, play it cool, play it calm, and then at the end pop back up? Or do you think there's no like ground for that?
I really think it just completely depends on the season and the cast. I think in that season, that strategy, obviously that was the one that worked. I don't necessarily think that strategy would have worked in a different season just because sometimes they're looking for like the better strategic player. And like last season, Kenzie wasn't the better strategic player. She was the better social player. So like every single season, something different is what makes you win. Personally, I would not vote for Gabler. I would have voted for Cassidy. That still makes me upset. But in this season, I think the winner is probably going to be somebody that makes good strategic moves. I think that's the vibe that this cast is giving.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I will say they're pretty emotional after the fact. Like, I don't know, like
that is true.
Twitter, all that stuff that's going on over there, like it's pretty emotional. So maybe we're going to see an emotional jury. I don't know if that's, and we're seeing all of these blindsides, like blindside after blindside. People are leaving and they're not usually, like one person this whole season has said like good game, and that was Rome. Nobody else really has even said good game. They've all been like, really guys, who did this? We saw it with Asia. We honestly, even John Lovett did that. Like so many people were so emotionally devastated with all of these blindsides. I wonder if we're going to continue to see that throughout the jury.
I agree. I honestly think that I feel like it's definitely going to be an emotional jury, no doubt, just because I think that people have just been so affected by every little thing in this game. And I think once they get to the jury, like the final 3 have to say everything right, or like they say one wrong thing and I feel like it's going to bother at least a few people on the jury, and they're going to be like, all right, well, you're not getting my vote just because you said that. So I think it'll definitely be emotional. Asher,
you said you liked the blindsides. Which is your favorite blindside of this season? Do you have one yet? Or do you have one that you liked a lot? Or was that like
I loved the Keyshawn blindside. Loved it. Just because Genevieve did that, like
Genevieve?
I'm telling you, from the first episode, even when she had no confessionals, she was still my favorite. Like something about her, I just like I'm obsessed with her. I love that blindside. I've actually met Keyshawn. He's like the nicest person ever, so I feel terrible that happened. But it was so entertaining to watch, just because it was like the way it happened was crazy. It was such a good move, in my opinion.
It was that episode was so good.
Yeah.
That montage, oh my God, like of her lying there and having that mastermind montage behind her was absolutely, I love the editing this season. If there's anything that I love this season, the editing this season is so funny. Like that Rome episode was so hard to watch. The whole time you're like, oh God. And it's just like the editing knows how to tell a really good story, you know?
Yeah. And I also think I want to go back to that vote a second, because I think Genevieve is so smart, because the first second she heard someone could throw out her name, she didn't care like what the vote was. She's like, that is my agenda is I'm going to get that person out. And we saw that with D when D won too. Like, she's like, whoever said my name, they're getting out. And I think that is how to play this game. It's like, at the end of the day, you have to play for yourself. And the only way to really secure your safety in the game is to go after people who would vote for you and to keep people in who wouldn't vote for you. So the second she heard Keyshawn would say her name, it's bye-bye to him. And I think that was such a good move.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got somebody here from Twitter saying Asher's so real because I'm obsessed with Genevieve, LMAO. I mean,
they get it.
And can we talk about that image of when Genevieve got that advantage? And so she didn't have to go through the mud, and everybody was sitting there with that mud covered all over their body. And she's just there clean as a whistle in her like red and white shirt. Just so funny. It's just such a good image. And I just like love, I don't know. I was kind of low on Genevieve to begin the season. I was really worried about, you know, her tribe and how she was going to mesh and all that stuff. But, you know, never doubt the Canadians. The Canadians always do well in Survivor. They always make the jury one person. So, you know, the Canadians are really killing it. And we got some other comments. Chris was agreeing with us back there. He won the fact that Kyle didn't won the first two challenges didn't help. I really am interested to see what will happen with him if he doesn't win, because I feel like he has the kind of personality to not have it be that big of a deal and kind of play it down a little bit. And I kind of feel like he'll be fine. But
I hope so.
Who else do we think do we think Sierra will be safe tonight? Yeah.
She's giving finalist for me, I think.
Maybe.
I think she's giving like a no-vote finalist vibe. She's very, very good at aligning herself and being safe. Like she has not even been remotely on the chopping block this season, and I don't see it coming up. I think if Andy were to turn on somebody, it would be Sam, not Sierra.
I think you're right. I think Andy feels a lot more burned by Sam than by Sierra because he always said that he had to work with that relationship, where the relationship with Sam kind of came a little bit more easily. So that'll be interesting. I'm actually curious as to why Rachel hasn't told Andy about the idol yet. I am shocked that is not information that she has used against him, because that is something Andy was the only one on that tribe that did not know that Sam had any kind of idol. Sierra is also the only one that knew that it was only good for one tribal council. So I think technically in Rachel's mind, she thinks that he has a full idol. You know? So if I'm Rachel, and maybe Rachel also doesn't want to work with Andy at all. That could be very real. And she doesn't really even want to go after. She just doesn't want to like cross that bridge. But if I'm Rachel, I'm going to be like, hey, so he didn't want to tell you this, and he wants to just like work with you and use you as a number. But he does have an idol, and I knew about it, and Annika knew about it, and Sierra knew about it, and you were the only one that he didn't want to tell, just so you know. And I feel like that would just make Andy even more upset, you know? We have a quick commercial we're going to go to, and then when we come back, we'll keep talking about what we're going to expect this episode, who we think is going home. And if you have any questions for us, make sure to keep on putting it in the comments. We love chatting with you guys, so keep on doing that. We'll be right back.
Think you're the most knowledgeable Survivor superfan? Well, you can put that to the test with our Fantasy Survivor game. Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. We provide fantasy football style games for your favorite shows like Survivor and many more. We also have bracket style elimination challenges. Set your picks once for the whole season to see how your prediction skills fared. And don't forget to check out the season extras like contestant info, where you can see all the bios of each contestant, and our scoring recaps that are published each episode. Download the Bracketology mobile app or play on your computer at fantasy.bracketology.tv. It's entirely free to play, and you can win some awesome prizes. Good luck.
I love Bracketology. Asher, do you do fantasy Survivor stuff?
I don't know.
It's so silly and so fun, and it makes me feel like I can chat with my friends who watch sports because they all play fantasy football, and I do not care about football. And so I'm like, I totally get it. I have fantasy league too. I just don't say what fantasy league I have, and then it's all cool. But it's a very fun game. I'm losing though. I'm not like last in my group, but I'm definitely not first.
Who is your winner pick?
Oh, mine's Teeny.
Okay.
I love Teeny. I love Teeny. That's somebody we haven't talked about, but I think Teeny's so funny. I think Teeny's very smart, and I think Teeny has really good social skills.
I agree.
And I think that we're going to see them do some, like, I don't know, good stuff. I could see a world in which they go home this episode.
Really? I don't think so.
I do. I don't know. There was something like, maybe I've just had a stressful day, and I'm like, God, my winner pick's also going to go home tonight. But like, just something about the merge, and I worry about like any twists and advantages that could come into play with the with the auction. And Teeny's really good at social skills, but like I said earlier, this is the time when people start going after social players.
Right.
And even though Teeny was on the bottom for a bit, I could see a world in which they go, well, yeah, but they're still here. They're still making all of these really great bonds. Teeny does have, a relationship with Caroline and a little bit of a relationship with Andy and all this stuff, which could be to their benefit, but I also could see being, not great for them. How do you guys agree, disagree?
I agree. I just honestly, I hope Teeny doesn't go home because I don't want you to go through that because obviously Tiana went home last week and I literally I just had no words. My after show reaction I do every week, I was literally just sitting there what do you want me to say? I'm not happy. So I just hope Teeny doesn't go home for you. But I do agree that it could be a bad thing, but hopefully it's a good thing because I love Teeny.
Yeah.
I see Teeny going very far. I don't see Teeny getting out soon. I could see Teeny winning too. So I think I'm between Andy and Teeny for the win, and Genevieve, of course. But I think Teeny's out there.
I would love a Teeny win. That would be great. But I could see it going both ways because Teeny is really good at, making those bonds. The way they talked with Asia at the beginning, just very freely chatting and freely flowing the conversation. I don't know. I just think I think they could go far, but I have a tendency, my winner picks have a tendency to be the Mayor Ponderosa. I had Tiffany and 41 as my winner pick. I had Justine. Was it Justine and 42? I just every single one was the Mayor Ponderosa. Up until last season, I chose Tiffany. So Tiffany went further than Mayor Ponderosa, which is a very big deal for me. I was very excited. Who was did you have a winner pick last year or last season, Asher?
Yeah, Kenzie, but I tend to do pretty well in my winner picks. They always tend to do pretty well. But my favorite last season was Venus. Oh my God, I was so obsessed with Venus.
Venus was my winner pick.
Yeah.
Really?
And I was so angry. Yes, I loved her from the very beginning.
Me too.
I always love those type of players. Annika reminded me a lot of her, and I was obsessed with Annika. Yeah. I thought Annika was gonna go home really early, solely because she reminded me of Venus. But those type of players, I'm you're so me. You remind me of me. I love you. So yeah, she was my winner pick last season, and I still love her to the day.
I really last season. I get flashbacks of people not playing their idols over and over and over again.
Oh my God!
And that one hurt so much. Tiffany's really hurt because she was my winner pick, and I was oh God, no. But then that Venus's, I was there's no way she has to play it, and then she didn't. And it's funny that we're seeing the repercussions of that this season, where, you know, last episode, Rachel said the one piece of advice I got before coming out here was don't go home with something in your pocket, because the last thing they saw was Tiffany going home with something in her pocket. Like, you know, it's just so funny how season to season, you can see how the last one affects it, and we're seeing every single thing we played. I wonder if we'll see something we played like correctly, and it like in a wow.
I feel like we've only really had. I can, off the top of my mind, I only really remember Julie playing her idol really well when Dee told her to play it, but we haven't really. Oh, and then Jesse's idol too that no one knew about, but we haven't seen like a hidden idol be played. Like we just like old school versions where like they would whip it out, everyone's like gasping. Like, oh, I want that back. We haven't seen that in a little bit.
I know. I want the Natalie Anderson effect. I want San Juan Culture. Natalie walks up and says, Jackie, did you vote for who I told you to vote for? Yeah. Oh, so good. That one is my favorite idol play of all time. I love it so much. And I want that. I love when it's like so theatrical, because I always say like the tribal council is theater and you're performing for the jury. And I love when those kind of like using the advantages is like this very theatrical moment.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be. Exactly. Because it's fun. I'm really hoping we get a shot in the dark hit this season, but I don't think we will. I had a preseason gut feeling that we were going to get a shot in the dark hit, but I don't think it's going to happen anymore, because I don't think people are ever going to play their shot in the dark because people are blindsiding them so well.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't think there will be a shot in the dark. I'm hoping that we have a crazy idol play, just because like I miss it. Like I'm like after last season, I'm like sitting here like I just need something, you know, like I think that if somebody like, I mean, I just need somebody to find something, hide it, and be like, surprise, here you go, Jeff. Like that's all I need to see. I'll be happy.
Yeah, Kelly Wentworth doesn't count, you know? That's what I want it. And I think that like sometimes production tries to force those moments with like them giving them the ability to make those fake idols so easily and all of these different things. They're trying to like force these moments at tribal council, when I think that when they happen so naturally is when they are so exciting, you know, because you can't script it. You can't make that happen because it's just so of the moment. And I just really, really think that, like, I don't know. I think this season, in order for it to be a perfect season, because it's so far going really well with
really good. Yeah.
I think we need a really good idol play, you know?
Agreed. Agreed.
We have some comments. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say like what everybody's like favorite moment of the season was.
So far? Well, obviously, I guess we haven't seen all.
Yeah.
For me, it was the Genevieve montage. Loved her. Anytime Genevieve's on my screen is my favorite moment of the season. No. It was the montage of that was so funny. I was dying. And I was actually sorry. What were you
go ahead.
I was actually at like a Survivor watch party when that episode was airing, and I got to watch, like, Keyshawn was there, and like I got to like watch that happen, and that was so fun to like watch their reactions as it was going on. And yeah, that was my favorite moment.
I love Survivor live events. If they're like one of my favorite things ever. And watching the players watch it back is like weird experience, because it's also their first time watching it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's not like they've seen it before.
Yeah.
And I went to one where I was at the one with when Annika got voted out. And that was wild. It was like it was like a big audience of people, and it was just like Annika was there, and she had her like funeral outfit on, and she like stood up and she got a whole huge round of applause. But it's just like, I wonder what it's like to watch that back and have to like talk to people. You know, I couldn't do it. I mean, I guess I could if I had to, but I think Annika's exit, not that I liked Annika leaving, but that blind side was crazy. And that exit was like when she just walked off and was like, nah, and just like left.
Loved it.
Was so good.
Like so insane. Like she didn't have a single clue. Like her face the whole time was just literally looking around shocked. But honestly, I loved like the stupid, silly, like funny moments. And so like I would have to say like obviously, like, Genevieve's montage, like, that was so good. Like, I completely agree with you on that. But I did, like, love Rome in the well, and then, like, Sue with the paint in her hair being like, oh, it was just
Sue
messing
with
with
the
the
paint.
machete. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was too
Yeah.
good.
It's funny. Sue with the paint. That's also something that I forgot. Sue has a full
There's a
idol.
good one.
She's the only
Yeah.
one that has an idol right
Yeah.
now.
And it's secret, other than Caroline
Other than
knowing.
Caroline. Yeah, because the only other person that knew was Tiana, and Tiana's now
Right.
out.
Right.
So unless Tiana told somebody else, but that was that.
Mhm.
What would you do? What would you do if a pot of paint falls down basically like on you and you have to? I would panic. I would panic.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
I think what I would do
I would,
is
like-
I would, you go.
Oh, no, you were already going. Go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think I would just take the idol, hide it, and then leave the paint there and just let it be known, like, someone did find an idol here, but it wasn't me. Because I think just cleaning up that paint is
Yeah.
so risky. And she got away with it, kind of, which was kind of crazy. Like, at least only, 2 people saw it. But, like, I wouldn't even take that chance. I would just take the idol, wash the idol, run away.
I completely agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I would 100% leave it. And if I got any paint on me, like, you better believe, like, I'm going straight for the ocean. Like, bye. And everyone would see me running and be like, what the heck? And I would just dive straight into the ocean and be like, I just figured I would go for a swim. No biggie.
Mm-hmm.
No biggie. I really don't know because I'm a panicker. I panic. This is why I probably would be bad on Survivor. I would be like, I don't know what to do. I would shut down. My body would shut down. I would probably just walk to camp and go, guys, I found this and there's paint everywhere. I don't know what to do. Like, my brain would shut down because that's just like so much evidence. And the thing that you're taught and the thing that you say is like, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. And it's like, you find it by yourself, but then what if somebody walks up? I don't know. I would just be stressed. But that's why the producers like it, because it like shows people how they react in that kind of a stressful situation.
Yeah. And I was gonna say something that like we did actually see it this season for the first time in so long. But like what I'm not understanding is like when everyone knows you have an advantage, play it and get it over with. Like, why would you keep it? It only makes people lie to you. We saw it with the amulets, and I was so happy that finally happened. But like, if I think that someone knows I have an idol, I'm playing it the first possible chance I get. Because, like, again, then the suspicion is off me. People know that I played it. I'm definitely safe that night, so I don't risk going home. Like, just play it. If more than one person knows, or you think more than one person knows, just play it.
Yeah.
And like, there's gonna be another something when you get back.
Right.
Like, normally they replace it. So I'm like, I'll just go look again.
Right.
And also, if you know what you're looking for and you found it once before, it is slightly easier to find because you know kind of the color to expect, you know the size, you know a good hiding spot. It's not easy to find. It's just you have something you're looking for rather than yeah, exactly. So I think that you're 100% right. Get rid of it, literally and figuratively. Wash your hands of it and get it out there, and then move on. Move on with your game. Move on with your day. I think you could not be more correct on that. We do have some comments over here. Zan says, I don't even care who gets voted out. There is an auction. I know, I'm so excited for the auction. I just want to tell you the fights I fought in the comments of my TikToks when I was like, everyone was like, I hate Survivor because they had the auction. They got rid of it. I was like, guys, friends, gather around. Just because they didn't do it 2 seasons in a row doesn't mean it's gone forever. We all need to cool our jets a little bit. Like, not the end of the world. I was right, obviously. We have last season Haikyuu was a disaster on the strategic side. It was kind of frustrating to watch. I kind of liked it because of that.
Me too.
I did too.
But I do agree with that. I think like the last because season 44 was season 45 was strategic, but I think we've had a couple of seasons where season 44 wasn't that strategic either. And I think the characters and the cast made it very entertaining to watch. But honestly, at the end of the day, I want strategy. That's why I watch the show. And I think this season is delivering. So I'm very happy about that. I still loved last season because we had Venus, Liz, Q, like all those people was amazing. But I agree. The strategy, like there was 1 or 2 people that were really, really doing strategy. And this season, I feel like there's a lot of people that are doing strategy well.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that like the strategy we're seeing isn't the same. The people aren't doing the same kind of strategy, which I think is really interesting. We're not seeing the same like ideas over and over again. We have somebody who wants an all women's alliance. We have somebody who wants to get out a woman because they don't want an all women's alliance. We have people who lie. We have people who try to tell the truth. We have like all of these different kinds of people coming together, which makes it an interesting season because it's not just a big group of people going towards the end. And I think also the thing that really helps this season in terms of strategy is that every single person up until but they got to the merge, they had all played before. They all had to go to tribal council more than once, I believe, or at least once. So they all knew what it took to play the game of Survivor, which I think is so important because there are other seasons where even if it's strategic or whatever, when people aren't going to tribal council, like 41, for example, Erica did not go to tribal council until the merge. Like, that's wild. She didn't really start playing the game of Survivor until the merge. And I just think that when you learn how to play Survivor, which is going to tribal council and actually voting somebody out, is when you get, oh, okay, I get how to do this, and you get the good strategy. So they did a good job with that, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree.
And I think like, I don't know if you guys agree with this. I just think that like what we're going to see in this merge or after at this jury, I don't think we're going to see people stick together. I think we're going to see movement.
I agree. I was going to say that, like, when Teeny was saying like the all girls alliance, like I was literally sitting there like, they're not all going to stick together. Like there's 100% going to be movement on both sides, guys and girls, everything. I just know everyone's going to be talking to everybody. And I just can't wait to see like how that kind of like all comes together, each tribal council. Cause like, obviously like there's going to be a majority vote, and like seeing like who it is and how it comes together based on like what they're saying our alliance is right now is going to be really interesting.
Yeah. Cause right now I feel like it was the last episode was kind of hinting at like the red and yellow teaming up against blue, but then even within that we have Andy being like, oh, I don't trust any of these yellow people. And so I think he also apologies, I don't know the tribe names, but I really do think it's going to be so interesting because of that. Like I feel like there's so many, everyone has different motives in this game, and I am very worried that Genevieve is working with Andy. We did have that amazing edit where it shows like I feel like the birth of like a new, a final two or something, but I feel like Andy's so unpredictable that it might hurt Genevieve. And if that happens, I'm done. I cannot watch this season.
That edit when he was like, he was standing up and looking for something, and she was like, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? I was feeling for her so badly.
I was like, oh God.
He literally just teamed up, like, I think less than a day before. And I'm Genevieve, I'm like, geez, sit down, go to bed, sleep, enjoy the ribs, stop doing what you're doing, please. But she also go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I just feel like they're all going to think that, like, that advantage that was given to Rachel, like, they're going to think it was, like, Andy, I feel. And I think that's
a really good point.
Yeah, I think that Sam and Sierra are going to think it was Andy, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, since when is Andy working with Rachel? And it's going to cause some stir up is what I think.
Also, though, what is going to happen with that? Because do you think Saul is going to tell Rachel that it was him?
I don't
really.
Think he's gonna talk. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna like feel her out first, because like, what if she just like goes and tells everybody like that was him? You know what I mean?
I think she will tell everybody. I think he's definitely going to tell her, because what's the point? That's the whole point of the advantage. It's like to make that bond with somebody. Yeah. So I feel like he is going to tell her, and then she's going to tell maybe one or two people, and it's going to be kind of like public knowledge. And I feel like there's a lot of similarities between like Jake and Saul this season, where they're really trying to do their best. It's just the game is just it isn't working with them, and I feel like they're a little similar right now. Like I love them both. I actually really liked Jake too. That was another man that I liked. But I feel like people will know that Saul did it, and it's just not gonna they're not gonna care.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that like somebody else is gonna try to say it was them?
I don't see the positive of that. I don't think so.
I don't
but
know.
like
if they've been wanting to like chat with Rachel and like get along with her, like they could kind of just be like, hey, that was me. Like, I don't know. I feel like it could happen, but I don't know.
I could see that, but I could also see that blowing up in their face if they decided to do that.
Oh, definitely.
Because,
Very risky.
it's just so risky. And because there is somebody who can fact check them, because there's somebody else who actually did give it to Rachel,
Right.
who knows what the sheet says. Like, what if you go on there and you say, like, you thought it was just a safety without power or something, and you go, I gave you this safety without power, but she knows that it was actually a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it would be a dangerous situation. But
Absolutely.
I don't see any cons for Saul telling Rachel. I think that and if I'm Rachel, I don't think I'm going to go and tell everybody who gave it to me, because if Saul tells Rachel in private, this person just saved me. I was going to go home. What would be the benefit to break somebody's trust right away?
Right.
They just saved me when I could, in theory, build a connection with them and maybe
that
build
no one knows about
with them. Exactly. So I just don't see that. Like, I think there's a huge benefit for Saul to tell Rachel. I just don't see a huge benefit for Rachel to tell anybody else.
That's fair too. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Kimberly says she's having a nice dinner with us before the show. I love that. We're your dinner buddies. And then we got this Wild West. Then it would be them exposing themselves. I think by that you mean like just exposing the fact that he had that idol, and also he would also, if he told other people other than Rachel, then, or like other people found out, they would know that he could be, in theory, a good liar, because he didn't have the best poker face in the world, because we knew he was lying. But if you didn't know he was lying, maybe you didn't know, and then like, oh wow, he did a good job at pulling the wool over my eyes, which could be bad also for him.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I do think Genevieve sussed that out. I don't know if you guys saw that. She did this like side eye to him.
I know.
And
she knows. She knows everything.
No.
Yeah.
She knows.
And if she does know, I don't think she'd be the type to tell everyone other than him and be like, "Hey, that was super cool. I think we should capitalize on that together." Like, she seems very, like, she just knows to look out for herself, and I feel very safe every time she's strategizing. Like, I'm not worried that she's doing a wrong take, because I feel like she has a really good, solid read on everyone and like what moves and like what the consequences of what she says are gonna happen. And that's why I just love her.
She's really wonderful, and I am really happy that we are getting more and more of her every single episode. Truly, we're getting more of her every single episode. It makes me so happy. We have about 8 minutes to the episode here on the East Coast, so I know, very exciting. We get to the auction. Before we close out this evening's pre-show, why don't we all go through? No matter, I don't know. I know nothing. I don't know what's going to happen. Why don't we all say who we think is going to go home?
Okay.
Anybody have a feeling, like, in their gut that they want to go first?
I've had a feeling in my gut that Gabe's going to go home, but it's been a feeling in my gut for 4 weeks. So I'm like, when is this feeling telling me?
I will say, I had a feeling in my gut for about 4 weeks that Tiana was going home. And then last week I said, I have a feeling in my gut that Tiana's going home, but I've been saying that for the last 3 weeks. And then she went home. So maybe 4 is the magic number.
Maybe.
I think it's going to be Gabe as well.
All right, we have 2 Gabe. Great. Should we just make it Gabe across the board, and we all just
let's manifest that, please.
Okay, fine. Gabe across the board. Gabe across the board. We think that Gabe is going to go home. I think we're in for a good episode. The auction's so much fun. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us, and I can't wait to see them have fun at the auction. It's gonna be really great. We have some people saying that Wild West says he thinks Sam is going home. Sincere says Sierra will go home. Interesting. Another person says Sierra. Zaz says Saul. Interesting.
I feel like if Sam wins immunity, Sierra's in danger. I think. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I hope Saul's fine. Love him.
Yep. Somebody else. We've got Kimberly says I'll cry for Saul. I agree.
Me too.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Somatic. I don't know how to pronounce that. Agree on Sam going. So many red flags for him. And then Sincere says Gabe has more advantages in his future that he will find and play. I truly believe that's why they're making of his edit. He still has more advantages to get.
I hope not.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm interested to see. I'm very excited for the episode. I think it's gonna be really, really fun. I mean, the auction has to be fun. So we're about 5 minutes out. Unfortunately, Asher's about 3 hours and 5 minutes out. But I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love to talk about Survivor. It's like I never shut up about it. So
Anytime.
I never shut up about it either. I don't know if you can tell. But I think this was so much fun. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Just as a reminder, we do have a full slate ahead for shows tomorrow night. Speaking of Jake O'Kane, Survivor Social is tomorrow night, and we have Jake on the show. It's going to be
God.
It's going to be so much fun. So make sure to check that out tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We always have Stock Watch. That's going to be on Friday at noon. Make sure to check that out. See where they think things are going in terms of numbers. And then, of course, closing out the week, Saturday, 3 p.m. Got something for you. We have a very full week. Oh my God, I forgot. I'm usually on Thursdays, so I usually do Fridays and Saturdays, but I forgot we also have the recap tonight. After show recap.
I'll be there.
Avery will be there. The whole gang is going to be there. So after the show this evening, please make sure come back here, check it out, talk with everybody, and we can actually see what actually happened with the episode. But Asher, thank you again so much for coming on.
Of course, thanks.
Where can people find you, just so that they can give you a quick little follow?
Yeah, it's terrible username, Stinky Asher. Everywhere. Except for in real life. I am not stinky. I hope not. But thank you again for having me. This was so much fun.
I'm so glad. Everybody enjoy the episode. We'll see you right back here in just a couple of hours. And I hope for everyone's sake, nobody's winner pick goes home. Thank you again. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow night. Avery will see you tonight. See you then. Bye.